Today you become a Dubai Emirati billionaire. At 12, I crouched at Dubai Creek hauling cargo for British sailors. At 50, I signed a $300 billion oil contract on top of the Burj Al Arab. I was born in 1957 in a mud-brick fishing village on the north bank of Dubai Creek. My father was a pearl diver who dove 12 hours a day, his lungs full of salt and blood. At 3, my father blacked out in the deep Gulf and was hauled back coughing blood. My mother knelt on the sand wailing to Allah, her black abaya whipping like a torn banner. 1961, I was 4. 6 children at home, 1 daily meal of boiled dates and salted fish. I squatted by the door counting British jeeps, dreaming I might one day ride one. At 6, I started Quran lessons at the mosque. The imam said Allah tests patience, but I stared past the window at the harbor, wondering only where those great ships were going. 1965, age 8. My father coughed too hard to dive ever again. We lived on my mother washing British consulate laundry, 1 dirham per shirt. At 10, my father died. He pressed my hand to his sunken chest and whispered, "Go to the port, learn their language, never become a pearl diver." 1969, age 12, I went to Dubai Creek Port. British sailors paid half a dirham per crate. I carried 60 crates a day, shoulders bleeding, never daring to stop. At 13, I secretly collected newspapers the British sailors discarded. I read them by moonlight letter by letter, and within a year, I bargained with captains in English. 1971, the UAE was founded. Sheikh Zayed raised the 7 Emirates flag. At 14, I clapped with the British dockworkers, while inside I was already calculating oil. At 15, I learned to read cargo manifests. Oil tankers paid 3 times what ships did. I started translating privately for British captains, 10 dirhams a deal. 1973, the Middle East oil embargo. Gulf oil prices quadrupled overnight. Clutching 200 dirhams from translation work, I first understood what a generational tailwind meant. At 17, my mother began coughing blood. I spent every dirham of 5 years on Omani healers. The money ran out. She did not survive. Her last words, "Do not hate Allah." 1975, age 18. I entrusted my sisters to my uncle. Then in a Dubai Creek coffee house, I signed a contract with a Kuwaiti merchant. Tomorrow I sail for the oil fields. On the day I boarded, I looked back at Dubai Creek one last time. The salt wind cut my face like a blade. I vowed the city would know my name when I returned. 1976, age 19, I reached the Bara oil field in Kuwait. 50 degrees in the desert. I hauled drill pipe until my fingers peeled, earning 900 dirhams a month. At 21, I had saved 8,000 dirhams and enrolled in night school for petroleum engineering. Drill pipe by day, English textbook by night. 3 years without a full sleep. 1980, age 23, I earned my Kuwaiti petroleum engineer certificate. That same year, Iran and Iraq went to war. Gulf oil surged to $38. I knew my moment had arrived. At 24, I quit Kuwait and returned to Dubai. Sheikh Rashid was building Jebel Ali port. I bet every dirham I had on registering a small oil shipping company. 1982, my first major contract. A tanker from Kuwait to Rotterdam. I rowed aboard 30 days, returning to a company account 700,000 dirhams heavier. At 26, I bought my first office building on Dubai Creek. A 3-story tower with my own name on the brass plate. That day I prostrated 100 prayers to Allah on the carpet. 1984, age 27, my company grew to 300. I leased 2 warehouses at Jebel Ali, took transshipment contracts from British BP, net profit 20 million a year. At 28, I married the daughter of a great Abu Dhabi merchant. At the wedding, the Sheikh family gifted a diamond-set golden khanjar, my first step inside the circle of power. 1986, age 30, my first son was born. I held him at the very water where my father dove and told him, "This sea will only be bought and sold by you from now on." At 31, my tanker fleet reached 12 ships. Gulf industry called me the young prince of Dubai Creek. I believed I finally held my destiny in my own hands. 1988, the oil price collapse caught up to me. Crude fell from $30 to $8. Half my 12 tankers sat idle. My company burned 3 million dirhams a month. At 32, I mortgaged my Jumeirah villa. My wife stood weeping over the deed, holding our child. I told her Allah gives and Allah takes back. No tears can save the company. 1989, age 33, the bank demanded payment. The British HSBC manager smoked a cigar in my office and said pay 40 million dirhams in 7 days or I seize everything. At 34, I sold 3 tankers, each valued at 20 million, each fetching only 6 million. Watching the tugs drag them from the dock, my chest tightened until I could not breathe. 1991, age 35, the Gulf War began. I bet everything on post-war Iraqi oil shipping rebuilding. UN sanctions then lasted 5 more years, and my bet died slowly inside them. At 36, I was completely bankrupt. From 100 million in assets to negative 40 million. My wife took our 2 sons home to Abu Dhabi, saying you are no longer my husband. 1993, age 37. I stood at the construction pit of the future Burj Al Arab. Gulf wind nearly knocked me in. For 1 second, I truly considered jumping to end it all. At 38, I begged audience at an Abu Dhabi Sheikh palace. The old Sheikh sipped Arabic coffee, watched me 10 minutes, then said only, "Young man, it is not too late to begin again." 1995, age 39, the Sheikh family loaned me 200 million dirhams interest-free. The condition was exit oil shipping pivot to Dubai property. I prostrated 108 prayers. At 40, I bought my first plot at Dubai Marina with that 200 million. Barren desert without a single palm tree. The Sheikh laughed and said, "You have gone mad." 1998, age 41, my first Dubai Marina apartment tower opened. I priced it 3,000 dirhams per square meter. Sold out in 3 days. Net profit 60 million. At 42, I secured 20 square kilometers of warehouse land in Jebel Ali Free Zone. Leased to Maersk and MSC. Net annual rent 180 million. 1999, the Burj Al Arab opened. I bought permanent use of the top suite for 50 million dirhams. That day I stepped into the gold elevator in white robes, weeping silently. At 44, I remarried my former wife. She held me crying, saying Dubai has changed and so have you. I said Allah only sharpened me into who I should be. We begin again. 2003, age 46, the second Iraq War began. Dubai property prices doubled in 3 months. The 120 apartment towers I held showed 3 billion in paper gains. At 49, I bought a stake in the Burj Khalifa. 1.6 billion dirhams for permanent ownership of 7 base floors and 40-year operation rights to the summit deck. 2008, age 51, the global financial crisis. Dubai property cut in half overnight. My 120 towers lost 8 billion. The Sheikh family called me 3 times in 30 minutes. At 53, I survived. On the 2010 Burj Khalifa opening night, I stood on the 148th floor and saw the whole of Dubai Creek light up beneath me, like a dream. 2018, age 61, I gave the warehouse group to my eldest son, the property division to my second. On signing day, I said Dubai will give you far more than Allah ever gave me. 2019, age 62. I signed a $300 billion long-term oil contract with Saudi Aramco on the top floor of the Burj Al Arab. The gold pin nib caught the sea light. At 63, I had my first cardiac bypass. Lying on a Frankfurt operating table, hearing the EKG beep, I thought Allah was finally calling me back this time. 2021, age 64. I returned to the old Dubai Creek harbor. The wooden dock where I hauled crates at 12 still stood, restored as a heritage walk, tourists lining up to photograph. At 65, my grandson was born. I tucked into his swaddle the pearl shell my grandfather left me, told my son this family came from the sea, never let him forget it. 2024, age 67. I sit alone in the Burj Al Arab penthouse looking down at all of Dubai Creek. My father's dying words finally make complete sense to me now. If this destiny moved you, forward to a friend still hauling crates at the port. Vote A. End your life quietly in a fishing village. Or B. Sign contracts on top of the Burj Al Arab.